Plants for people. Plants are everywhere, in our homes, in our yards, and on our hillsides. In our stores we buy fruits, vegetables, and beautiful flowers. Some come from Washington, others come from around the world. Plants from around the world are delivered to us by plane, by train, and by truck every day of the year. We eat many kinds of plants. Plant foods give our bodies energy to run, play, and grow. Spices are parts of a plant that are used to make other food taste better. Cinnamon is made from tree bark. Vanilla is made from a seed. Many medicines come from plants. Aspirin comes from the bark of a willow tree. The cotton plant is used to make bandages. Plants are used to make shampoos, soups, and lotions. The paper used to print magazines and books is also made from plants. We make clothing from plants. What if you were living here 300 years ago? Where could you go to get food, medicine, clothes, and shelter for your family? Long ago, people gathered plants near their homes and used them for many things. Today, we go to stores, farms, or gardens to get the plants we need. 300 years ago, people gathered plants from valleys and hills covered with grasses, flowers, and shrubs, like sagebrush. Today, scientists call this land the shrub steppe. It was important for people to pay attention to the seasons to know where and when to get the plants they needed. From spring until late fall, people traveled long distances to collect plants. Can you imagine what it might be like to gather all the plants needed for your family? In winter today, we can buy many fresh green vegetables that have been shipped to our stores from warmer lands. 300 years ago, Native Americans had to wait until February for the first fresh green vegetables to sprout in the shrub steppe. These were called Indian celeries. This Gray's desert parsley is one of the very first Indian celeries to come up in February in the lowlands. The tender young stems and the leaves were gathered and eaten raw. After months without fresh vegetables, people looked forward to eating the early spring celeries. Today, we eat starchy foods like potatoes that we buy fresh, frozen, or canned. 300 years ago, people ate starchy roots and bulbs dug in the few months of spring. This yellow bell is an early bloomer in the shrub steppe. Its bulb was dug and eaten raw, steamed, or boiled. Each bulb is the size of the top of your thumb and tasted like a sweet potato. For many months in the spring, people dug up bulbs and roots from over 20 different kinds of flowering plants. They were all called Indian potatoes. Look over these supplies that might be in your medicine cabinet at home. Just as we do today, people here 300 years ago had dandruff and lice, caught colds and flu, and hurt themselves. These people collected and used plants to make medicines. The dried seeds and leaves of this plant were collected and made into a hot drink used to fight a cold or to stop a fever. The roots of this flower provided powerful medicine. If eaten, it is very poisonous. The mashed root was put on broken bones and open wounds to prevent infection. Children collected the dry seeds from this flower. Seeds were ground up into a flour that was eaten raw or cooked as a soup. The serviceberry plant has stems that are hard and straight. To make a tool, The bark was removed and the stick was heated in the fire to make it hard. Men made arrows and women made root-digging sticks from the serviceberry wood. Serviceberry fruits were used as a sweetener to make other foods taste good. In winter, dried serviceberries were boiled to make a pudding or added to a stew. Trees also provided food for people. Early in the summer, the sap tasted good as chewing gum. The hard red pitch from the ponderosa pine was rubbed like a lotion into chapped hands. People harvested the stems of wetland plants called tules to sew together into mats. Mats of many sizes had important uses inside a home. Mats were used as carpets, mattresses, placemats, and countertops. Overlapping large tule mats served as a wintertop roofing on winter houses. People made thread, strings, and robes from the stems of the Indian hemp plant. Bags, fishing lines, and nets were woven using hemp string. Big sagebrush is the most abundant shrub in the shrub steppe. In winter, the wood was an important fuel for heating homes. The strong-smelling leaves were used as air fresheners. Leaves and twigs were boiled up to make a medicine drink to fight colds or sore throats. People with runny noses stuffed leaves into their nostrils, like we use tissues today. The stringy sagebrush bark was used to weave aprons, saddle blankets, or bags. Braided bark served as rope. The shrub steppe and the ponderosa pine forest of central Washington served the people of 300 years ago just like the superstores serve us today. For native people, plants growing in these landscapes provided food, medicine, cosmetics, clothing, shelter, and tools. Today, plants in central Washington still produce food for people. Instead of gathering native plants that grow without our help, we grow large areas of food plants from around the world, like apples, corn, potatoes, and wheat. We bring the water from the rivers to grow our plants. We sell the food from these plants to people around the world. We buy some of this food from each other in supermarkets and farmers markets. Our natural shrub steppe landscape and our farms and orchards all provide valuable plants for people today. If we take care of our land, it will continue to grow good plants for people in the future. How is the way we get food from plants today different from the way people got it 300 years ago? Can you imagine ways plants might give us food in the future?